I want to know what you're working on. I love it when people are interested in stuff, not just on like a really superficial level, like we usually are with sports. You know the characters, you know what positions they play, you know who won the game, but you don't actually play the sport. I don't like that. I don't like this surface level appreciation for things. I like a deep love and affection for things. Like you intimately know what you're working with, whether that be like a trade, you're doing woodworking or you're doing something else, you're cooking, there's plenty of hobbies that people have. I want to know what you're working on because that's so cool. Like this world is so big and so diverse. Even if we really tried our hardest and we did our best to be good at everything, we couldn't even try everything. There's too much to do. Like, just off the top of my head, I might never get into glass blowing. I might never get into blacksmithing. I might never get into volleyball. I might never get into fishing. There's so many like little things, hunting, you know, even in hunting, you have trapping, you have archery, you have shooting with a gun, you have actually butchering the animal, skinning them, then you have the raw materials, right? You can make like freaking glue from a cow. You can make all sorts of stuff with the bones. You can make leather. You can make clothing. And that's the whole world. Everything's so diverse and so intricate that I've just developed this. It's almost a hate. I almost hate this surface level, like, oh, that was cool. Oh, that's awesome. Like, you don't actually know anything about what you're talking about. And we pretend like this is the norm. No, we're supposed to be deeply involved in our matters. And, I'm not trying to say it's awful either to have an appreciation for something. That's great. It's just like, is that the only thing you do? Is like you just scroll your phone and you just have a very basic knowledge of a lot of little things? That's lame. In my opinion, that's super lame. Like, you're not doing anything. You should do something. And that's why I want to know, like, what are people doing? Because I have a bunch of little projects that I'm working on. I've got a bunch of little hobbies, a bunch of skills that I'm working on. Fitness has been a big one for me for the past few years, for the past decade even. And this project here, doing a million push-ups, that's a big one as well. It's not only building my physique, it's not only testing my patience, it's not only getting me stronger, but it's doing all the above. And that's awesome because there's so much about fitness that you could go into. In fact, I saw a video today, went on my phone like, actually, it wasn't too bad today. I went on my phone like 2 hours after I woke up. But still, I went on my phone pretty early in the morning and I went on Instagram and I saw this girl doing these awful push ups. God bless this girl's heart. She's doing awful push ups. She's going like a quarter of the way down and she's talking about how, most girls don't even do push ups because they think they can't. And it's true, women have 50% of the upper body strength of men, but still, like, this is proof that women can do push ups. And she's just like the worst example for it because she's doing these really awful push-ups. She's not going all the way down. She's not even going like halfway down. Her arms are, her elbows, they're not even going 90 degrees. And it just makes me feel bad because it's like, you're talking about fitness, but you're not even like doing it. Like, okay, good. You're showing up. You're getting started. Like, this is what I expect from a beginner. It seemed like, and I didn't look at her page, it seemed like she'd been doing fitness for a while. So I was just kind of disappointed to see that. And I don't want to spread hate either. It's just, what is that? Like, I'm very particular about the kind of push-ups I like to see. I want to see the chest hit the ground. I want a full extension of the elbows at the top. And if not a 100% full extension, at least get like pretty close to locking out. Don't go like halfway up, but touch your chest to the floor, go all the way up. I think it's very simple. Some people will say you only have to go until your elbows are 90 degrees. So, maybe your chest is a couple inches from the ground. And that's fair. Like, everyone's got their own opinion on it. I really do prefer the chest touching the floor as the trigger to go up. But that's just my opinion, right? I'm totally fine with the 90 degrees too. The thing is, if you're doing like a quarter of that, that's just not a push up to me. It's something else. And I don't even know what to call it. That's how abstract it is to me. Because I have spent so much time doing push ups these past few years that I've become really intimate with this idea of what is a push up. And it means a lot to me for myself. If you say your quarter push ups are push ups and you're doing 200 push ups in one set, fair enough. That's you. That's not me. That doesn't reflect anything that I'm doing here. When I say I could do 50 full range of motion push ups, when I say I could do 50 push ups, I'm talking full range of motion. I'm talking all the way down, all the way up. I'm talking you stay in that plank position, you're breathing. Doesn't matter how long it's taken. I'm getting those 50 reps done and they're looking clean and crisp. And that's what's important to me. It's not like, oh, yeah, here's 200 push ups and I'm just humping the air. I don't like that. I don't want to just talk about hate today. I'm going to talk about some scripture. And I'm going to use this scripture to back up this idea of why you should plant a seed today. And I'm using this analogy of a seed because the skills that we develop really are seeds. Doing push-ups for one day or for a couple of sets, it's a seed that I'm planting in my life. It's a repetitive action towards growth in a particular area. I'm growing my muscles, I'm growing my mental fortitude. The more sets I do, the harder it is because my body gets worn down, my mind gets worn down. And here, I decided, you know what? On the 18th, I was supposed to do 400 push-ups and I missed that. I took like 3 days off. I was planning on doing push-ups every third day and I took the 18th off. So the 19th, I said, you know what? I'm doing 1,000 push-ups today. And I did a little bit more. I did 1,050 push-ups in one day because I was just tired of myself, tired of the excuses. I don't like that. And so I planted a little seed for my future. You see the push-ups today, but they're going to pay dividends into the future because every rep counts on this journey. Every rep counts on the way to 1,000,000. Here's a proverb for you. Proverb chapter 20, verse 4. Sluggards do not plow in season, so at harvest time they look but find nothing. A sluggard is a lazy person, right? You could think of the word slug, which appears in that word. Sluggards do not plow in season. To plow the field is to dig up the earth and prepare it for planting. So if you don't plow, if you never prepare to plant anything, then you're never going to plant anything. And when it comes time to collect the harvest, you could go and look in the field, but nothing's grown because you never planted a seed. And that's what this is about, planting a seed, whether it's a little one, whether it's a big one. On this day, this is a pretty big seed to plant. 1,050 push-ups. That is 0.1% of this challenge completed in one day. If I did 1,000 push-ups every single day, I'd have this challenge done in under 3 years. Now, I'm not doing that. I have done that a few times, but I just needed this. I needed that seed. Or in fact, this is 105 seeds. This is 105 sets of push-ups, and it's just back to back, back to back. I'm taking like 2-minute breaks. Took me a few hours. I'm taking my time with it. 2-minute breaks every set, doing sets of 10. That equates to about 300 push-ups an hour. So you could say it took me 3.5 hours to do this. In fact, maybe a little bit more. Sometimes I'll take 3 minutes. Sometimes I'll take more. It probably took me like 5 hours to do these 1,000 push-ups. And just thinking about that, I realized, actually, this wasn't so bad. I'm only doing 10 at a time. I'm breathing, I'm bracing my core. I don't feel that exhausted. And while I do feel a little bit worn down as I keep continuing and going through the sets, once I got the 1050 done, I thought to myself, you know what? I could have done another 1,000. I'm going to call it here, but I could have done another 1,000. And I know that for a fact because I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I did 2,000 push-ups in one day. I did 2,000 push-ups in one day, so I know I could do a whole lot of push-ups in one day. I could do not just 1,000, I could do 2,000, and in fact, if I could do 2,000, it's possible maybe I could even do 3,000, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'm planting seeds, all right? Every set is a little bit of stimulation to that muscle. It's a little bit more blood flow. It's a little bit more work my heart is doing. It's a little bit more oxygen I get to breathe to fuel these muscles. It's just a little seed into my future. And here's another proverb for you. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 13. Do not love sleep, or you will grow poor. Stay awake, and you will have food to spare. And this one resonates with me a lot because I love to take a nap. When I get tired in the middle of the day, if I've got a free day, if it's a weekend, I might just take a nap. And that's not great. Another proverb says, a little folding of the hands and poverty falls to a man quickly. It comes to you quickly. Just folding your hands, a little sleep, right? A little rest here and there becomes every day, and suddenly you got no money. You haven't been working. You haven't been planting those seeds. You got nothing to harvest. You got to plant when it's time to plant. You got to plow when it's time to plow, plant when it's time to plant, and then when it's time to harvest, you can expect a harvest. If you don't plant, if you don't maintain your crop, you're not going to have anything to harvest. And the amazing thing about these push-ups is, yeah, I feel the effects of it today, but actually, they extend far into the future, and they're going to sustain me and feed me for a very, very, very long time. I expect in 5 years, I'm going to look in the mirror and I'm going to be even more fit than I am today. My abs are going to be a little more defined. My arms are going to be a little bigger, maybe a little more vascular. I'm going to be stronger. My spirit is going to be a little tougher. I'm not going to be a pushover because I put in the work. That's the hope, right? That's the goal. Now, people come across droughts, people stop training, but the thing about a seed is you have to keep watering it or it dies, it dries up. Especially at the beginning, when you plant that seed, it needs water or else it's never going to take off, or else its roots can't settle into the soil. They can't hold any moisture at the beginning. They're weak, they're brittle, they're fragile, right? So you have to take care of it. You have to maintain it. You have to keep watering it. And that's one of the biggest reasons why this year, my biggest goal with these push-ups is to average at least 100 push-ups a day. I want to do 100 push-ups a day at least, because that's maintaining the seed. It's maintaining the plant. I'm just watering it until I'm ready to reap that harvest. And the amazing thing about it is I'm already reaping the harvest of the previous years. I couldn't have done 1,000 push-ups in a day had I not done these previous 88,000 push-ups. I probably couldn't have. In fact, just this summer, I tried to do 1,000 in a day, and I got really sore, and I got really tired, and I hadn't been doing push-ups consistently. And that really disappointed me, because I know I could do it. But if you take the time off, if you give yourself a little too much rest, a little too much leniency, if you slack off too much, or just a little more than you should have, there's consequences for that. And sometimes you can't reach the own standard that you set. And that's really disappointing if you get there. I've been doing this little Bible challenge that my buddy told me. This isn't super off topic, but those Proverbs that I shared today, they're from Proverbs chapter 20. And today's February 20th. And this little Bible challenge is called a proverb a day. So every single day, whatever day of the month it is, I'm reading one chapter of the book of Proverbs. Since it is February, there's only 28 days, and on the 28th of February, I'm going to read Proverbs chapter 28, 29, 30, and 31. So 4 chapters. But next month in March, because there's 31 days and there's 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs, every single day I'm going to read a little chapter of Proverbs. And another name for the book of Proverbs is actually called Wisdom of Solomon. The Wisdom of Solomon. Solomon was supposedly the smartest or the most wise man to ever live, and he wrote down this book of wisdom of Proverbs. And it really is helping me right now. Just to think about my life, to reflect, and today, these Proverbs just relate to what I've been doing. And so I want to share another word from the Bible for you today. This is from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verse 6. Sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle. For you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. So you sow your seed in the morning, and at evening you don't let your hands be idle. You don't rest, right? You can rest when you sleep. At evening, keep working. And this again kind of relates to me today because I did these push-ups yesterday. I did a whole bunch of push-ups in the morning. In the evening, I edited all of the footage, all 105 sets of 10. I cut down those clips. I compiled them. I counted out every single rep. I edited the video, and now I'm recording it the next day. And I don't know whether it's going to be the physical act of doing the push-ups that's going to be beneficial to me. Maybe it's going to be recording it, compiling it, talking about it, sharing it, hopefully motivating somebody else to get off their lazy butt and do some push-ups, at least 10. I don't know which one's going to pay off, but I don't let my hands be idle. Because what if they both pay off? I don't know what's going to do good. If I just do the push-ups and I don't record them and I don't make a video, what if it doesn't work out? What if I break my leg? What if I break my arm? I don't know what's going to happen. So don't get lazy, put in the work. I did 1,050 push-ups yesterday. Adding that to my 87,378 brings me up to 88,428 push-ups completed. Jesus loves you. Bye.